So I've had this amp for a little over a year now. I got it from Thomann like last June or something like that. That's just like the dirty channel. It's just purely my amp. I have the JHS little black box there. But you know, the main reason I got this amplifier is just because I needed an amp that had an effects loop, and I wanted a small one. And at the time, I wasn't aware that there's actually there's a decent amount of amps that you can get, practice amps that have effects loops built right into them. But at the time, I didn't know, so I just grabbed, one of the first ones that I could find, and so I went with this one. And initially, I was a bit annoyed by the orange amp, and the reason why is because I felt it was still too loud. It's quite loud for my apartment, and you could probably take this to gigs, like it is a little loud. But the reason why I like it now and why I've grown to like it a lot more is just because it has a CabSim feature. So if you like plug an instrument cable into the headphone output or the input, and then you run it into your audio interface, you can actually play it quietly and you can record it quietly. It's not going to sound as bassy and rich as if you were using the real thing, but it's a nice alternative if you want to keep it nice and quiet and you still want to have it retain, a lot of those orange characteristics. So yeah, here's what the guitar sounds like. This is the CabSim right now. See, in my opinion, just sounds a bit like plucky. Sounds a little bit more plucky when you use the CabSim. And here's what it sounds like with the dirty. So I mean, if you ask me, it always sounds quite a bit better with just the regular combo, excuse me. So it comes stocked with a spring reverb. I'll show you what that sounds like. Now personally, I'm more of a hall reverb kind of guy, or like a church reverb. I like that sound a lot more than a plate reverb. That being said, the reverb on this sounds pretty good. So now we're testing out the clean channel. By the way, if you're looking for something to practice, get my fretboard memorization cheat sheet from travelingguitarist.com/fretboard cheat sheet. What it is it's all the triads, the major and minor triads in every single key. Through the octave mapping technique and through a couple other techniques, you can actually just learn to memorize not only the notes of the fretboard, but you can also learn how to improvise in a bunch of different keys by understanding the the foundation of harmony, which is the triads, right? The foundation of chords. You can also sign up to my forum at forum.travelingguitarist.com. There you can chat with people about guitar and music and whatever else you'd like. That was a clam right there. Another thing I really like about the Orange 35 RT, I find it handles effects pedals really well. So typically I don't even run it clean like this. I'm always using a big board of pedals, you know, like compression, like a Tube Screamer, Morning Glory, MXR Carbon Copy Delay, Walrus Audio Julia, Source Audio EQ2, Hall of Fame Reverb, all kinds of stuff, and including the RC5, which I would put in the effects loop or at the end of the chain. And I find it, I don't really have any issues with it. Although sometimes if I use like an envelope filter that has like a lot of oscillation between high and low frequencies, I find that you know, I'll get like a crackling sound. But I think that has more to do with some kind of like improper level setup within all my pedals rather than the amp itself. So like I was saying earlier, this amp it tends to take pedals very well. So like I'm always using tons of pedals. Like as you can see here, I've got like how many? 5, 10. I guess I have like 12 pedals hooked up right now, including a reverb in a little black amp box in the effects loop. So I think it's incredible for that, and really that's one of the main things that I was looking for as well. Like literally, I went on Google and I typed into the search bar what kind of amp takes pedals really well, and that fits in an apartment, and then it also has an effects loop, and the Orange 35 is one of the ones that came up. So that was very important for me to get that right. So if I turn off, you know, my chorus and my reverb and my chorus reverb and my delay, and like I was saying earlier, the you know, the effects loop too, it works really great. So I got reverb in here right now. I've got the Joyo Atmosphere, and I've got the little black amp box. turn that off. And then, so, you know, this is what it's going to sound like if you're using the CabSim feature, but with all your pedals. Let's get the reverb and delay off. So it still sounds decent, but it doesn't sound quite as good as when you use like the actual amp part. So another thing that you can do, as you may know, is that like you can combine like certain drive and compression pedals with the dirty channel on the orange amp. So for instance, like I'm just running the Dynacomp right now into the dirty channel. Let me just adjust that camera a bit. And that's all I've got, just a Dynacomp, no reverb, just the Dynacomp and the amp. You can tune your guitar with it too. I never use that, but you know, that's something that you can definitely do if you wanted to. So for instance, if you want to tune your guitar, you press this button right here. So yeah, I'm a little out of tune right now, but I've been messing around for a while, so